Welcome to It Doesn't Take a Genius. A quick tip before we get started. Nervous public speakers have often used the trick of visualizing their audiences in their underwear to calm their nerves. You may want to try that as you watch Mark and Mike. After all, neither one of them is wearing pants.
Oh, you gotta love our announcer.
It's fun. It's fun to be disparaged.
Yes.
Mike, we've both been visiting in person our clients this week. It's so exciting. Hasn't happened for me since March 13th in person.
Sorry, I was clicking on something. No, you're right. It was very exciting. Monday, I got to go out into the world of work for the first time. So yeah, over 120 days of Zoom and virtual and phones and yeah, it was completely fascinating to see the level of success that the stores were having. That business was good. Service is good, sales are good. They're making good money.
Yep.
The level of exhaustion to do that, though, is incredibly high.
Correct.
You have to do all the stuff that you used to do, plus mask, sanitize, plexiglass, handing keys back and forth in Ziploc bags. It was, yeah, who's going to tell that guy that just walked in he has to put a mask on? So yeah, that's all going on. And then the other piece that I found interesting was that the ones looking a little down the road and looking big picture have noticed that they're starting to settle into routines.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the really cool stuff that they had been doing before all this is not happening. And then there are some things that they've discovered that they've done during this that they go, we need that to live on.
Right.
And then there are things that we've always talked about doing that there's now this hope of, man, if we could get that working before it all solidifies, then we could have years of success.
Yeah.
With the processes that we establish now.
Yeah. Very same experience that I had when I visited clients this week. It was, that all worked. The things that we put in place worked. And, wow, demand that was pent up is arriving and we're reaching capacity problems. Our last big hurdle, the thing that we've been wanting to work on for years, now it's time to tackle that. We need a better process in this particular department now that our business is, tripled over the course of a month. So putting that into place, those processes are routines in and of themselves. To have those ready to go is a big deal.
Oh, definitely. And so we were looking at, a day in the life of a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that look like? A day in the life of a sales manager. And so looking at the current reality, let's map out what you're currently doing, and then let's map out what would be the ideal behaviors that, if done, would make us successful in the long range.
Yeah.
And I've done that before in stores, and it's not a new conversation. What was new was the concept of identifying within those routines now, near, and far. This is a phrase that's been elevated by Jim Hackett, the president CEO of Ford. He's always talking about the now, near, and far. And for the company, now would be, today's incentives on trucks. Near would be the F-150 that's getting ready to come out, and far would be the Mach-E, the all-electric vehicles, the trucks, and stuff like that. So what are we doing to affect business now, in the near term, in the long term?
Yeah.
And if you take the salesperson's activities for the day and say, okay, here's the day in the life, here's all the different things I want to do, and then you start to label them, what are now behaviors, what are near behaviors, and what are far behaviors?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you can start to nuance and tweak that a little bit.
Right.
And so you've probably seen examples of salespeople who only focus on the now. So what does that look like when you look at those folks?
Yeah, often ugly, but what I see a lot is waiting on what the industry calls the up. You know, the next person that's going to walk through the door, and I'm going to get that person, and that's when I'll start working. Is when that person arrives. It may be following up on live leads, people that haven't bought yet and are still, you know, maybe fresh, as in like this week, and I'm still going to work that, but nothing beyond that. That would be silly. That's intangible. You know, that those aren't real people necessarily. I got to work on what I have now in front of me.
Mm-hmm. As you're talking, I'm thinking about the manager. We were talking about a 20-year salesperson
Mm-hmm.
who has no repeat, no referral business.
Yeah.
And I asked the sales manager, I said, the guy's got 20 years of experience. And the manager said, no, he doesn't. He's got 1 year of experience that he's relived 19 more times. He hasn't evolved. He hasn't grown. He hasn't done anything for the near and the far. He hasn't planted those seeds with that return. And at the same time, you see salespeople who spend too much time focused on the far.
Yeah.
Right. So what does that look like?
Well, do I want to really ask for business? I could just keep sending these emails and marketing a little bit. I mean,
Yeah. I can't take any customers now. I've got to finish my newsletter.
Right.
You know, and then lo and behold, there's this opportunities missed in the now that are just overlooked. And
so Mike, you know, this is not the only industry that has a customer relationship manager tool available to almost every single sales professional out there.
Mm-hmm.
And those CRMs are, you know, known for helping people kind of navigate that. You know, here are the people that are coming in today that you set appointments with, and you know, here are people that you need to, you know, send a 1 month follow up to, or something of the sort. Why isn't that just the solution? Why can't we just say, well, here, you got a CRM tool. It's going to tell you what to do now, near and far.
Well, I think what I've seen looking at the industry is that is the minimally effective behavior.
One of your favorite phrases.
Yes, one of my favorite phrases, right? Minimally effective, right? So it's the least amount you can do to be minimally effective, to be average.
Okay.
And so, yeah, if you do these things, you could be an average salesperson. But if you want to be an above average person and above average effectiveness, you have to go beyond that. You know, I was thinking about the salesperson, unbelievably successful, long period of time. When he gets to the store, it's all about the now. You know, he's set his appointments. He's working on the appointments. He'll be setting some appointments for later in the week, which is the near. Mm-hmm. All of his far behavior takes place at home after he goes home. He sent out 700 Christmas cards last year.
Yeah.
Where do you find time to send out 700 Christmas cards? He says, I go home, I got a little table with stamps and envelopes and cards. And then when I'm watching the football game, set it on my lap. And during the football games, I write cards. And in a month's time, you can handwrite 700 really nice cards. You know, so he's not spending his quality now time doing far behaviors.
Right.
He is spending the time where, okay, all my customers don't want to be bothered, or they may be sleeping or watching the same game I'm watching.
Right.
This is when I will prepare and launch all my far activities that will endear them to me for a long-term relationship.
And that's a way to do a now, near, far routine that's obviously very effective. I think I know who you're talking about, and he's the pace setter, shall we say, for his market.
Yeah.
That's a way. There are other ways. I know of sales professionals that come in an hour early, and that's when they do all of their CRM, alerts for the day. Here's the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to send these emails and, you know, write out these birthday cards and whatever else it's suggesting they do. Now, The doors have opened. It's 9 a.m. I've got 2 appointments coming in today. And other than that, I've got a chance to be out there and interacting with service customers that are in the lounge and, seeing if anybody has any interest. So there's different ways to do now, near and far, but I think what I'm hearing is it's a routine. There's some sort of routine.
Yeah, I've always been amazed. It strikes me as humorous every time. I get done with the dentist and they're cleaning my teeth and we're wrapping up. I've gotten my free floss and my free toothbrush, and they go, "Okay, your next appointment is in 6 months. Would you like to do that in the morning or the afternoon?" 6 months. I don't know what I'm doing 6 hours from now, and you want me to schedule an appointment 6 months from now? It just strikes me. But I agree.
Sure you do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Put me down for the 31st at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Just laugh, right? But there's only 2 things that are going to happen.
Uh-huh.
They're going to call me at some point right before then, and I'm either going to keep that appointment or I'm going to move it to a day that does work.
Yeah. Right.
So the fact that they had a plan, right? They know that the plan could change,
Sure.
but they know that if they make that plan ahead of time,
yeah.
the statistical odds of me keeping that appointment and them getting my money are much higher than if they let me leave and call me 5.5 months later to try and pin me down to something.
That's a great example. That's a great example.
So yeah, if we start with a plan, yeah, especially in retail, your plan will be blown up
every day.
Right. Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a fight plan until they get punched in the face.
Right.
And then the plan's going to change. But you're better off going in with a plan that gets modified than going into a day with no plan and just making it up as you go along.
Yeah. Well, I think what we've done here, Mike, this really is a follow-up to what we talked about last time about change and, where do you find that motivation to change? And hopefully this is a little more motivation for some people to say, hey, this is my chance to get now, near and far baked into my day so that this doesn't, bite me in the butt tomorrow or a year from now. If I am allowed to say such phrases as bite me in the butt.
Well, I think we've just gone from a G to a PG-13 rating.
Look out.
Which could be good for ratings. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, we thought my daughter was going to wander in at some point, but I can tell that her mother has her now. So unfortunately, we're not going to get the pandering with children badge as well. But it's fine.
I tried to borrow the neighbor's puppy. I figured if we have little kids and puppies, there's no limit to the viewership. So in lieu of that, we would like to encourage you to do something worthwhile, which is look at the behaviors you're doing every day and put them into those 3 buckets, right? The now, the near, and the far. And make sure that the now behaviors are occurring at the peak moments where they could be most effective, and then working the rest around that. And I think just by doing that analysis, you may find opportunities to just improve your effectiveness, improve your performance, improve your success.
That's right. I love it. All right. Well, let's let the most professional part of our whole podcast take over here and listen to our announcer.
Yes. Please insult us now.
And there you have it. Another session of contemporaneous extemporizing from Mark and Mike. I know it's redundant, but consider who we're talking about. As always, feel free to share the ideas you heard here. No rights are reserved, no permissions needed. Thanks. See you next time on It Doesn't Take a Genius.
That's good enough.